I don't know why it took me 3 videos to finally say that, but here we go. Script would be helpful, maybe. At least a preamble. I'm your host for another one of these. I'm Chad Porter. Joining me, as always, for this top 10 countdown-orama, Marcus Green. Marcus, how are you?
All good, man.
It's almost like we've done 3 of these in a row.
I know.
What? Who would do such a thing? Who would be that lazy? Can't see it, but I'm raising my hand. Oh, and I forgot to change the fucking photo again. We'll do better next week. Probably not. We'll find out. So next up, we have our top 10 matches of 2020 so far through the first half. It's been a heck of a year, but we ain't done yet. Marcus, how would you say the wrestling has been in 2020? Up to your standards, or maybe the lack of fans at some points have kind of made it a little bit harder to get through?
First, I mean the lack of fans, and to a certain degree, but it's made me pay attention more to exactly what's going on in the ring and just how these guys work. And like I said, the whole fan thing has taken a lot out of it, but I think it's like I said, allowed me to hone in because a lot of times, like a great crowd could make you into a crap match, get you into a crap match, as
Mm-hmm.
opposed to now, this is kind of separating the ponies from the thoroughbreds, if you will, in terms of what they do in that ring, how they still engage and whatnot. So, I think obviously top of the year, I think it was kicking off right because obviously New Japan kicked things off always right, um, and then obviously it's tapered off. But I do think the wrestling is still up to a certain standard. So.
Well, then, with that being said, let's start this one off right, Marcus. I'm going to kick it to you to start. What's your first match of 2020 of the 10?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with this is coming from Impact, and this was just something like even though I was not the biggest fan of one of the guys in there, this was just undeniable. Michael Elgin versus Marufuji.
Mm, that's a good one.
Yeah, that was a war, man. Like I said, we talked about it before, despite how we and a lot of people feel and think about Elgin. The guy, when he gets in there, he gets a great opponent. He will deliver. And him and Marufuji went to war on a weekly edition of Impact, and they killed it. And so definitely, I think these matches are definitely ones we'll recommend that you watch if you haven't. And this is definitely one for me.
I cannot tell a lie. You are pretty dead on with that one. I was thinking about that one. I'm gonna take it off my list right now, though. For me, I will go and do my obligatory Michael Elgin selection now because obviously at some point we have to have him. He's too good not to, even if he is a giant schmuck. I'm gonna go with Elgin Edwards at Hard to Kill. Physically, I can still feel that match. I don't think they hate each other, but I'm pretty sure they beat the hell out of each other like they did. I think that's an impressive testament. And I think Edwards and Elgin are arguably the 2 best wrestlers in the company. So, of course, they're going to put on some of their best matches. Uh, Super excited to see what happens with Elgin and Edwards throughout the year because I think we're in store for more fantastical nonsense. So, Marcus, who you got next?
Let me see.
Andrade?
Andrade. See, and Almas. No. Um,
Seth Rollins.
yeah, I really would come on here and put his name on here doing a show with you. Come on. That's the effort match of the night. I'm going with a match also that was on Hard to Kill. But I'm going with the handicap Mac versus the North.
That's a good one. That's a good
Yeah,
one.
man. Yeah, man. So I appreciate it. That's the Mac was he put on a one man show, man. Obviously, Swan went down with a legitimate injury, and the show had to go on, and the Mac damn near got those titles on his own, and it was just another mark and proving why the Mac you know, well, I guess a lot of people look at him and be like, okay, this guy's not, the freaking chiseled Adonis or whatever. What is he gonna do? And then from bell to bell, he is going to shut you up in ways you didn't think, he would. So, yeah, I'm going with that hard to kill handicap.
So I'm going to go with a shocker, if you know me at all. I'm going to go with Daniel Bryan and Drew Gulak from the Elimination Chamber. I'm not a WWE guy. Not even going to kind of pretend. But I love me some grapples. And this was my weekly grappleaholic meeting. I'm Chad Porto, and I'm a grappleaholic. Hi, Chad. So it's just one of those matches where it reminds me what I really got into wrestling about, and one of my favorite runs of impact of not impact but wrestling in general was the early 1999 tag team division that featured Raven and Saturn, Dean Malenko and Benoit, and the Triad, as well as Barry Windham and Kurt Hennig, and Billy Kidman and Rey Mysterio. Just so much great wrestling action, especially from Benoit and Malenko. Anytime I see guys like that with those styles, I just immediately gravitate towards them, and Gulak and Bryan are definitely of that ilk, so got to go with them. Marcus, I do believe you are up.
Let's see. Hoping at this match. Yeah, I'm going. This next match, I gotta throw two women some love. Because I thought this was a banger. Um, I'm going all the way down to NWA, and I'm going the 17th episode of this season this year. Pride versus Thunder. Thunder Rosa versus Allison Kay.
That was a good match. Thunder Rose is fantastic.
Yeah.
What
Yeah, man.
what about this match appealed to you though?
I mean, it was obviously the stalking personalities. I think Thunder Rosa when because we seen sparks of it, but she didn't necessarily go against the level of competitor that she did with Allison, and or the length of match. She was kind of just running through people, kind of showing those sparks of brilliance. But she really, and I think she made Allison Kay step up her game in a real just hard hitting physical style of match, and she earned that title 100% lock, stock, and barrel. I know you like that one. And yeah, I just really think it put attention. I really probably think it stole the show, honestly. So yeah, I got to give it to the two of them, and NWA for knowing go when they see it in Thunder Rosa, man. You pull the trigger on that chick. Like I said, if you was coming out of Lucha Underground, love Lucha Underground, but she was only showing maybe a fourth of what she could do under that Snake Queen gimmick, and now we're getting to see it on full display. So, yeah, I gotta give it to them. That was a hell of a match, and they had a hell of a rematch. But I think this match was the best of the two.
Next week we're doing a top 10 talents that came out of Lucha Underground. Not were in Lucha Underground. I mean, made their name in Lucha Underground. So like no John Morrisons. But that takes us to number 3 for me. I'm apologize to you right now because I think this might be on your list. I'm not sure. But I'm going to go with New Japan's New Beginnings, Minoru Suzuki versus Jon Moxley, because I like watching murder happen in real life. These two crazy sons of bitches are like, I'm going to hurt you. And the other one's like, don't tease me with a good time. I like physicality. I like seeing people kind of go through hell. I don't know. I'm a sadist like that. There's no two crazier personalities in wrestling than Moxley and Suzuki at the moment. At least New Japan Moxley. I feel like AEW Moxley might be a little kind of cornbread, little Disney, if you will. But New Japan Moxley is straight up hardcore gangster, and you gotta love that. Especially his shooter trunks. I love his shooter trunks. His trunks are great. Not a big fan of the pants. Just can't get into them. Phrasing. Marcus, before we go into the danger zone any further, what's your number 4?
Number 4. I think we both got one left after this one, no? Um, number four, I'm going New Japan too, but I'm going with I'm going all the way also back, kicking it to Wrestle Kingdom. Uh, the main event of that show, Kazuchika Okada versus Kota Ibushi.
Hmm.
I think this was the match. Correct me if I'm wrong. When Ibushi turned into the Owl from Milo and Otis.
Yes. Yeah.
It's
From night one, right?
yeah, yeah. It just went like stone face killer, and it was great. It really was great. Um, yeah,
Killer match.
it was phenomenal. Yeah, like I said, I mean, this was a long time coming for him to get the title match, and whatnot. And these two, I mean, these two are the best to do it in the industry. So the match was phenomenal, and the way Ibushi like turned that on. He's already psycho, but to add the look to it, just brilliant.
Well, I hope this doesn't throw a monkey wrench in your plans. By the by, the monkey wrench is the best wrench that one can own. Hence the name, Dodoy. I'm going to go with Wrestle Kingdom main event myself, but I'm going night 2 with Naito Okada. Sure, they spammed the finish like a bad SmackDown video game, but you know what? It's super fucking cool to see Naito walk away with Naito 2 belts. And Okada going, how the fuck did I lose that one? And Naito just going, tranquilo. And Okada's like, bitch, that's Hispanic. I'm Japanese. I don't speak that shit. So it's hell of a main event. Capped off 2 great nights of wrestling action. Something WWE would try several months later and fail at doing. You can't top what works, gentlemen, because it works for a reason. Marcus, what's your
Yeah,
final pick?
finishing it in New Japan, finishing it on Wrestle Kingdom, finishing it on night one for me. This was not the main event, but it damn well could have been. This is kind of my forte because I love this style and this division and these guys. I'm talking about the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship match between the returning Hiromu Takahashi and the champion Will Ospreay.
Talk about great theme songs, Ospreys.
Oh yeah, uh, love it. But yeah, I mean, we all know that Hiromu's career could have been over, and for him to come back and maybe not the guy, but go for the title that he never lost against a guy who has really redefined not only people's perception of him, he was already on people's top list, but redefined his style of people's perceptions of him, and really that division as a whole by setting a new standard in the Osprey man, and they just came together and did what the juniors normally do in these high pressure situations, and they went off. And for like I said, for Romo to come back and kind of have that doubt of if he could get it done, would he slow down, this, that, and the third, and for him to put those doubts and the potential doubters to rest, even if he was one of them. I thought it was great. So to see him come back, climb the mountain again, knock off Ospreay, who pretty much did everything you could ask for him in that division, for Roman to get back on top, it was phenomenal. The juniors always show out, and I'm always appreciative to get those type of matches.
So that leads us to our number 5 for me. I will end up having 2 that will be an honorable mention here after I get to my number 5, and I'm literally shuffling them as we speak because one of these just needs to be given some love more than it already is. If I remember correctly, this was from Hard to Kill. It was the no DQ match featuring Rhino and Moose. I think that's right.
Oh yes.
That might be my pay-per-view of the year, unironically speaking. I think it's a fantastic show, and Moose and Rhino just beat the hell out of each other, man. Good for them for having the ability to have great matches whenever they need to. I spelled Moose wrong. Let me see here. Yep. So when you have 2 hosses going at it in a brawl, you're not always guaranteed a great match. Like they did the Moxley Jeff Cobb match from a few months ago. And it was all right, but I thought it was a little overplayed, personally. But Moose and Rhino just have great chemistry with one another, and it definitely shows. So I'm a big fan of anything with hoss battles where people just get knocked the fuck out. Um, so definitely a fan of it. Maybe we'll do a top 10 shows of the year so far. Now it will be a little bit harder to do, but Hard to Kill definitely has some bangers. Marcus, do you have any honorable mentions? Because I have two.
Honorable mention. I mean, yeah. I mean, I'm going to night 2 of Wrestle Kingdom. I know a lot of people was kind of poo-pooing on this match from a certain perspective, but I was very much intrigued by it. And I thought it delivered. Jericho versus Tanahashi.
I have one.
That- I'm glad we agree on it because a lot of people's like these two old farts and whatever. I'm like, man, you tripping. Like, just wait, see how they execute that.
There is something about that match that I will say was a bit lackluster, but I think that's only
Yeah.
because so many people kept selling me on Jericho still being as good as he ever was, and he's not. He's just not. But you still got Tanahashi and Jericho. Even if it's not the work rate capital of the world, it's still Tanahashi and Chris Jericho. Like that's like being mad at Sting Hogan in 2011. If you bitches showed up expecting it to be, fucking catch can wrestling, fucking AJ Styles and Will Ospreay jumping off goddamn skyscrapers, the fuck were you showing up for? We knew what it was gonna be. We knew what it was gonna be. And I think Tanahashi and Jericho is exactly that. We knew what it was gonna be, but we wanted to believe it was gonna be so much better, and it wasn't. But it was still good. It was still enjoyable. My honorable mention will be Callahan and Tessa from Hard to Kill, the main event. The reason it doesn't make the top 5 is because Tessa's title run has been trash. Whether it's personal drama, all types of nonsense drama, she's not showing up to work, her match is not being all that great, and the blowback that the decision making got, when it was made, hasn't been something that I would say was worth it, all things considered. So definitely, it's still a great match, but hindsight being 2020, maybe you leave the belt on Sammy and not change it for Tessa. So what are you gonna do? Marcus, that's our final thoughts matches for this week's this Friday's top 10 and all that. Do you have anything else you want to add to this before we bid adieu for the day, for the video, for the thing?
No, man, that was we pretty much covered some great stuff, great picks all around. Like we said before, if you haven't seen any of those matches, go check them out. I think they'll be worth your time. And no, man, just kudos to you. This was a great idea.
We've recorded 3 shows back to back to back, and we'll be doing it again probably next Sunday. You can listen live if you want at twitch.tv/WrestlingUnderground. Otherwise, just wait until the videos get uploaded on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Of course, Tuesdays we had our podcast. It was the Wrestling Underground podcast where we talked about Tessa Blanchard's title run. We talked about something else I had mentioned to talk about and other various topics and whatnot. You can also find us on our other podcasts on ComicCorp, which we recorded last night, on Making an Impact, which hopefully we recorded on Wednesday, depending on Zach's availability. And later on today, we will be doing a recording of our first podcast of the Eureka podcast. We need to come up with a name for it. That'll be on twitch.tv/Comic and GameCorp. Me and Alex Swisher are back on the air this Friday, reviewing the hit sci-fi show Eureka. So with all that being said, we're done for another video. We'll be back next week for another 3 videos, another top 10s. We'll see how this turns out. Went pretty good, but otherwise we're done. RealNerdCorp.com, Podbean, RealNerdCorp.podbean.com, Spotify and iTunes. Search NerdCorp on Spotify and iTunes, and you can find all of our wrestling, comic, and dorky podcasts that we do. I think that's it. I think that's everything. Marcus can be found on Twitter at ParadoxKid, ParadoxKid.
That's the kid.
You can also find him on his other podcast at the True Penny Show at True Penny on Twitter, TruePennyShow. You can find me on Twitter at Chad NerdCorp, ChadNerdCorp, as well as on Instagram at Chad's Photo Up. Be sure to also follow us on Twitter at NerdCorp. and at Wrestling Underground on Twitter. It's actually Wrestling Under G on Twitter. We are also on the website I know the name of our website, realnerdcorp.com. There it is, RealNerdCorp.com. With all being said, we're done. We'll tune in to you next week. What the? I've been Chad Porto. He's been Mark Screen. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for checking it out. Thanks for giving us a chance. Marcus, before we watch more wrestling, why don't you take us home?
Good night, me.